Getting real analog synth recordings right in your DAW is super easy. Head on over to NeiroAudio.com, purchase the NX8, and let's check it out. Click on the right avatar menu, and then click on Downloads. If you've purchased the NX8 plugin, you should see a purchase label at the top of the plugin tile, and at the bottom we'll see a download button. I'm going to download the Mac installer since I'm on a Mac. Now that you've installed that, you should see in your Downloads folder a package installer. Going through this, we'll install a VST3, an AU component, as well as an AAX plugin for Pro Tools. Now that we have that installed, I'm going to open a pre-arranged Ableton set to show off some of the functionality. Let's add our first NX8 to the first MIDI track by going to the Plugins drawer, the Neiro folder, and then the NX8 VST3. Drag that on the first one. The first time you open the plugin, you'll have to log in with the same credentials you used to purchase the plugin. Cool. This looks like kind of an arpeggio thing. Let's play around with some different sounds and see if we can find something we like. To me, this kind of feels like we should go with a mallet or a pluck or something, so I'm going to go through these. At this stage, we're kind of exploring, and this is a digital emulation. We'll get to rendering on real analog synths in a bit. Cool, this one sounds pretty good to me. So stereo sawbell, and it looks like we have another MIDI track. Kind of looks like a bass line to me, so let's add another NX8 instance. This one you could see you don't have to log in, your computer's already authenticated. I think I might have a bass patch in mind already, so I'll just kind of jump to that. Thick XA bass. That one's nice. I am going to take the frequency on the filter down a little bit. It's a bit harsh for what I'm looking for. Cool. So now that we have our arrangement, we can do some rendering. One cool feature of the render is it does capture automation for parameters. So on the first instance of the NX8 representing the ARP, let's automate the frequency and just make it kind of ramp up through the intro before the drop. To do this, I'm going to open the drawer on the plugin in Ableton, click Configure, and then I'm going to wiggle around the parameter that I want to change. Okay, so it looks like it was at about 105 Hertz, and we'll kind of ramp it up from the beginning. Cool, that sounds pretty good to me. Should demo the purpose of it. So let's get to rendering. So now, to capture the data, send it to our servers, record it on real instruments, and get that back to you. Pretty simple step. Click on the Render tab, and you'll see a big Make It Real button. All we have to do is capture the area we want to record after hitting this button. I'm going to click Make It Real. Then we'll just do Play in the DAW. Cool. Plus stop, and then now we have a little MIDI representation. You kind of check your work. You can play it if you like. So we can kind of make sure the sound is what we're looking for. I'm going to call this stereo sawbell NX8 demo. You can name it whatever you like. There's no uniqueness. You can name two things the same thing if you like, whatever works for your workflow. We'll hit render. We can see the queue time is 0. No one's in line. I'm first. And the length of the whole recording is about 33 seconds. So we can see the queue time with the clock next to it is 0 seconds. This job should get picked up momentarily by our real analog synths at our remote location. Yep, it's already rendering. So now all we have to do is wait for the render to complete, we'll see this progress bar kind of move forward as it records. In the meantime, if you want to see a history of everything you've ever recorded, you can always go to the website, click on the drop-down menu, go to My Renders. You could flip between the two devices if you have both purchased. We could see we have one in progress, and you could see the whole history of all of our jobs. So back to Ableton, we could see we're about halfway done, and it's still in the rendering state. So now we'll just wait it out. Cool. The download is complete. You can see an analog waveform now within the plugin lane. When we play it back, we're now going to hear the analog version recorded on the real instrument. We could turn that analog off, we could disable the recording, and this will play the digital. Alright, now let's turn it back on and compare that. To me, it sounds a lot more glued together, warm, kind of has better harmonics and frequencies, and sounds like a real synth. So, what if I want to manipulate the audio outside of the plugin? Well, we thought of that, and we added a really convenient drag-out feature. All you have to do is have an audio track, grab the waveform, and now you can do whatever you like as if it's just a recording on your computer. Let's make sure Ableton doesn't warp it. We can turn off this first channel. We can listen this way instead. You know, if I wanted to pitch it up for some reason or do any kind of audio manipulation, quantize it, you could do that all within the DAW. And if you have any other questions, hit up hello@neiroaudio.com. Thanks.